Alright folks, Chase Lehocky here, Blue Futon. You're like, wait a minute, what movie is out on a freaking Wednesday? Anyway, there was a special screening early access to the new Angel Studios movie called Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. So this is interesting because I was like, I didn't know it was called Sound of Hope. Sound of Freedom, I want to say, came out last year for the July time frame. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, are they going to continue doing this like Sound of Blank franchise? And this one's also about children, but instead of sex trafficking, this is about the foster system. And I want to say this is based on a true story about Possum Trot in East Texas. I want to say in 1996 or 1994, but I want to say it's 1996, about this town. Very small community with friends, family, that adopted a total of 77 children. And they decided to focus on this one family, the pastor and the pastor's wife. And I think they adopted 5 kids total, if I'm not mistaken in my head. This goes through the hardship of the adoption and what they're going through, especially with these troubled teenagers and or kids. So did I like this film? I thought it was a well-crafted movie. It brings light into the foster system and how there's over 100,000 kids waiting for families. And I think that is a very good message, and to focus on the small town of like, yo, if the small town can do it, why can't more churches? And I think that's a good message, is where they are a very small church or very niche, like a Baptist church, and then they try to go to these bigger churches and they're like, oh, we need to raise $1 million. But to raise $1 million, what are you actually doing? Oh, you're increasing your pew size of your church, but you're not actually doing anything for the community or anyone outside the walls. Now, I do think that message is very prominent to all religions, because you see these big churches, these big religions, and I've seen pastors talk about Gucci and Louis Vuitton during their thing, but it's like, okay, cool, you're taking money from these people that could afford to give you money, but what about people that can't afford to even give you a nickel, a dime, and what are you doing to actually help them? And I think that's a good message. I wish they focus on the family elements, because they do have 2 kids of their own, but there was talks of like the hardship the mother was going through and losing connection with her real daughter, and they talked about it, but they didn't go further into it. And also there's a line in the trailer as well as in the movie saying the state of Texas is like interested in Possum Trot, the town, but it doesn't dive deep into like what is the state actually doing to try to help them, or if anything. But like, it felt like there was a line in that movie and it should have been explored a little bit more. There's a little bit of themes here and there where you just wish like they touched on it, they sprinkled it, but they kind of didn't dissect it even further, which I really wish they did. But overall, it's a good movie. It is faith-based. It's way more faith-based than Sound of Freedom, so just heads up on that level. But if you just want to watch a good movie about what can you do better in the world, you can't go wrong with Sound of Hope. Chase Lehocky here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Blue Futontopia. You Blue Futons, think watch. Have a great day. I don't care what to take tomorrow, week from now, month, or year from now. Every single one of you. Peace and love. Peace and love. Have fun and enjoy life.